What is up, Facebook? Mark here again from markmcgarry.net, helping fellow marketers and newbie network marketers get out of frustration, overwhelm, and wheel spinning by implementing daily, consistent steps. And with that introduction finished, I'm just going to kind of hop right in. So today we're kind of talking about why some people kind of are afraid to change their circumstances. They'd rather stay stuck in pain pretty much rather than, changing their circumstances. Hey Cherie, thanks for hopping on. So while you're hopping on, just let me know where you're coming in from. I always like to see new connections that I'm making and how's everything going for them. Hey Julie, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for connecting today. So so if you're watching this just on the replay, just hashtag replay. And if you're getting value out of it, just type in value. And give me some hearts, comments, shares, all that good stuff. I wasn't live the last couple of days because I had a pretty busy couple of days in work on the night shifts and just very, very tired. So we're back on it today. So, and for those who are hopping on, we're talking about why some people are afraid to change their circumstances. They'd rather stay stuck at square one because it's comfortable for them there, right? So what kind of inspired, I suppose, this live was on Sunday. I was, working away. For those of you who don't know me, I used to do part-time work in the bar trade. Cause I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoy working in the bar in the bar trade, so I just keep my toes in it for the weekend and stuff. Of course, this could have an extra bit of money coming in too, right? So anyway, I was out kind of collecting glasses outside. So there's two of my friends outside, and they were smoking. And they're both coughing their lungs out, right? And they're both complaining they had a chest infection, and they're kind of saying to each other, we got, that their chests were really bad, and they were saying, I know how I'm going to get rid of it. How will I get rid of it? Well, they were smoking a cigarette, and obviously drinking alcohol, but they were smoking a cigarette while they were kind of asking each other their advice on how to get rid of it. Right, so that kind of inspired me to come on and put this live on, because I thought it was really funny the way it's kind of seems to be it's just something I know in our genetics that no matter if we're going through some kind of struggle, if we're going through some kind of a pain or overwhelm or whatever it is, we look for every type of maybe excuse or justification in the book, rather than when the solution is right in front of your face, and it's actually pretty easy to recognize that solution, but you're still afraid to actually go after that solution. You'd rather be stuck in square one because you're afraid basically to change your circumstances. So if you agree with that one, just type in a number 1. That some people would actually prefer to stay stuck in overwhelm and confusion than to change their circumstances. And if you're getting value out of this, again, just type in value, give me some heart shares, comments, all that good stuff, so I know I'm kind of giving value to you. They're not willing to do anything about it. You complain about your circumstances and your situation. Hey Ian, thanks for hopping on, man. Instead of changing it. So it really comes from that fixed mindset mentality. So there's, you got what's called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So the fixed mindset will always look for the problems rather than the solution. They'd always complain about their situation rather than actually doing anything about it. And then they probably complain that other people are actually finding solutions because they're pretty much, on a neurological level, I suppose. They're afraid because they're getting out of their comfort zone and all that kind of thing. So it's really a common problem in society, that rather than looking for that solution, they look for every excuse under the sun. We're really programmed from an early age to accept our circumstances. Hey Lisa, thanks for hopping on. So, if you agree with that one, that we're from a very early age, we're kind of, we're programmed to accept our circumstances and our lot in life. And that's really where people find it difficulty to get out, because they're programmed so deeply that even the very, very smallest amount of change can, really mess it up for people to get out of that one, and for people who are just coming on, we're talking about why people are, afraid to change the circumstances rather than, doing anything about it, right? So, instead of changing it, we're willing to suffer on. We'd suffer for pretty much, all our lives, instead of actually going out there and doing it. But it's all in the head, of course. We think that, people are embarrassed, I suppose, in a way, to kind of get out there and change their kind of lot in life, I suppose, because they're worried about what the neighbours will say, what, their friends or workmates, what society in general will say. And that's really where the problem kind of comes from, because, obviously we're coming back from ancestors were kind of put in tribes, and we're afraid, of course, to be spat out by that tribe and be ignored by them if we try to kind of change everything. So if you agree with that one, just type in agree, so I know that I'm giving value. And if I'm giving value out to you, just give me some heart shares, comments, all that good stuff. And so if we worked on our mindset instead of complaining about it, it would be completely different. Can you imagine if you worked on your mindset for even just 90 days? Where you consistently put in, even an hour in the morning of different mindset techniques and tricks and tips and stuff. Can you imagine in 90 days how much different your life would be? But of course, again, people were programmed to have that overnight quick fix. Overnight. So, 10, 12 days, and even that's probably a bit of a stretch for a lot of people, 10, 12 days. So maybe 3 days, right? And after 3 days, people don't see everything changing, so they just give up and they go back to square one. And of course, happy to suffer through life again, and without ever giving it a second thought. If you agree with that one, just type in agree down below. Yes, Sherry, the transformation of you starts and ends with you. That's a very, very, very good point. It all starts in the mind. As Bob Proctor said, if you hold it in your head, you're going to hold it in your hands. And that's really, really true. When you think about it, what do, say athletes when they win, any kind of tournament or any race or whatever, the first thing they do, they say they visualize the outcome in their head, right? I think when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, he said, he ran the race so many times over in his head, he knew he was going to beat the 4 minutes. So it all starts in here, and there's some really, really good research on that too, actually, neurologically, that, if you visualize the outcome in your head, your brain thinks when you're actually doing it in reality that you already, that outcome has happened so many times that it's just going to come. Hey, Krishana, thanks for hopping on. So if you're just hopping on to the video or to the live, we're talking about how people are just afraid to change the circumstances, and they'd rather be stuck at square one than changing it. And if you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay. And there's only two types of people in the world, people who want to change and people who can't change, who don't want to change. And unfortunately, pretty much 98% of people don't want to change. And they get to the end of their lives and they kind of, realize, why didn't I change in the first place? They don't want to change because of the mindset, and they let outside circumstances dictate their reality. They'll let people get to them. They let people these people's snidey comments, these derogatory kind of comments that people give to them, because they're afraid, because their friends and their families were always afraid to change their circumstances. So when they see their friends actually doing the same, they start bringing them back into their circle. And of course, you just go back to square one. So that story about the guys who were if you're just hopping on, what kind of gave me the inspiration is when I saw two guys smoking the other day, and they were, coughing their lungs out, and they're both saying to each other they had chest infections. and they were saying, you know, well, what can we do to kind of cure the chest infection? And I said to them, well, you know, you could stop smoking. That might cure your chest infection. And they kind of looked at me, you know, what do you mean? You know, because they never thought about not stopping smoking might actually cure a chest infection. So, yeah, so as I said, it all comes down to mindset and just changing your circumstances. And as I said, unfortunately, a lot of people are just afraid to do that. So if you got value out of today's live, guys, just give me some hearts, comments, shares, all that good stuff. Share it amongst your friends. I always like to connect with new people, and I hope that I kind of can bring value to as many people as possible. So thanks for hopping on again, guys, and I talk to you later.